continue today with Rambam Hilchos Yesodei HaTorah. And last time it was took as a little longer than expected, but actually it was expected because it's very long topic, like very involved subject. Right? Meaning Hashem is one, and right. So, and today is going to be Beezrat Hashem much shorter. Beezrat Hashem. But let's see. I don't look ahead what we're going to learn. Let's see. And so in chapter 1, Halacha 8, and it says, "Behold, it is explicitly stated in Torah that in the works of the prophets that the Holy One, blessed be He, is not confined to any body or physical form." As it says in Dvarim 4:39, states, "Because God your Lord is the Lord of the heavens above the earth above and the earth below." Sorry. And the body cannot exist in two places simultaneously. I mean, that's a very interesting proof. Okay, like unexpected. Also in Dvarim 4:15 states, "For you did not see my image." And in Yeshayahu 40:25 states, "To whom you can liken me," Hashem is speaking, "with whom I will be equal." Were he, meaning Hashem, confined to a body, he would resemble other bodies. Okay, so so let's try to understand from the beginning, and we see the commentary. Beezrat Hashem. So with everything we need siyata dishmaya, the Hashem's help, but with this topic, even though it's written pretty simple language, but in all our studies we don't use to this language. It's more on philosophical level. So I usually skip this stuff because we do it more on a practical, but this is actually very practical, very, very practical. Right, and these things that Menis Friedman and other clowns said, yes, Hashem has hands, literal hand, and then he said just in case you think that he meant like in figurative sense, no, he said literal hand. Okay, so let's see. Rambam disagrees with him. "Behold, it is explicitly stated in the Torah and the works of our prophets that the Holy One, blessed be He, is not confined to the body." So, right, it says clearly Hashem has no body. Right, He is everywhere. Right, because and as we said yesterday, when we say body, it's automatically means limitation. Right, it doesn't matter. Like even you give huge dimension, it's still limited. Okay, so Hashem is unlimited. Is it possible for us to comprehend? As we said yesterday, not. Of course not. Right, just 1 second. Prophet, the Holy One, blessed be He, is not confined to the body or physical form. Okay, on this we have commentary. And it says, within this discussion of the God's oneness, in the previous halacha, the Rambam mentioned that He, meaning Hashem, has no body, no physical form. In this and in following halachas, he discusses the concept as a subject of its own right. In the 13th principle of faith, the Rambam mentioned in principle 3 the negation of material existence from his being, that his unified being described above, God, is not a body and corporeal power. Okay. In Hilchos Teshuvah 3:7, Rambam states that the person who conceives of God in a corporeal terms is heretic, who does not have portion in the world to come. So yesterday we were talking about mumar, right? In the majority of the time when we speak, we actually interchange these terms like mumar and min. But here is, but of course, those are two different definitions. So let's do from the beginning and try to understand. So yesterday, right, in a discussion of God's oneness in the previous halacha, right, the Rambam mentioned that he has no body, nor physical form. So when like it sounds very very similar what we said today, what we explained yesterday, but Rambam wants to put it in a separate halacha. Why? As the commentary is going to explain further on, because it's a separate prohibition, right? One of the 13 principles. In the following halachas, he discussed the concept of subject on its own right. Okay, so far so good. In the 13th principle of faith, the Rambam mentioned as a principle as, I mean, here is a very difficult language. I'm not sure. Like it could be said simpler. Okay, so let's see. The negation of material exists from his being. Okay, so I mean, Hashem no, like in other words, Hashem has no physical being. And this and this unified being described above, meaning Hashem, has no body or corporeal power. So meaning, right, Hashem no physical attributes, no body, no corporeal power, nothing, right? So as we said, when one body or something needs to move another. Right, when one entity needs to another, it would transfer the energy from one to another. But Hashem does not transfer anything. Right, it just as we're going to explain in his mind, whatever it means, his mind. So he continues to recreate and this ninth sphere to revolve. But I think he said it in. We're going to look at it at chapter 4, I think. Okay. So next one, Hilchos Teshuvah said. Rambam states that the person who conceives of God in a corporeal terms is a mean heretic who does not have portion in the world to come. So I mean, what does it mean in the simple words? The simple words is everybody who draw Hashem, right? Who draw a picture and said this is God. So this person is not only right not in good standing, but this person does not have a portion of all to come. Right? So very very dangerous. And we had our student. Unfortunately, he stopped learning with us because some and not in this class, in another group. So how he came to recognition of Hashem. So this guy. He was he's a special like painter, artist, right? So he's not Jew. He thought that he's Jew. I mean, he might be Jew. I don't know. He's not sure basically, right? So we told him he has to go through Giur Safek. So he's making all of the paintings in churches for many years. They pay him top money. I mean, I'm not sure how is it possible. Like it's like huge paintings, whatever. Even not in church, like huge. Like I don't know, right? That's what he was doing. And then he told us one day I just realized like I'm doing whatever I'm doing. Sometimes I erase. Sometimes have to step back, can't come back. This and that. But then people are going to bow to these things, right? And he's very intellectual person. Very interesting. He did many dubbings on our Russian channel. Very talented person, right? Continue. So he said, how is it possible I'm going to draw them? And I said, that's what Abraham said to his father. Continue after 34. Right, as it says in Dvarim, God, because God your Lord is the Lord in the heaven above and the earth below. So I mean, it's very interesting, and the body cannot exist in two places simultaneously. Okay, so very interesting. So Rambam goes by logic here. So I'm going to skip like commentary that it's not relevant to our class. Hence, God's existence in both the heaven and the earth demonstrate that He is not confined to the physical form. So something or someone, a physical form, can be only in one place at the given moment, right? So meaning He's here or He's there. He cannot be here and there. Okay. Right. In the physical form, but Hashem, since he's not limited, right, to physical form, he can be everywhere. Also in Dvarim 4:15 states, and for you did not see my image. Probably he's talking to my there is at the revelation at Sinai. So meaning it says they heard Hashem's voice. They heard the sound. They saw the mountain in fire. They saw all of this smoke, right? Everything but not Hashem, right? Nobody. How can you see Hashem? So again, in order to see something, right, it must be limited form, or sometimes. I'm not sure where they see it. When you're too close, you don't see it, and then when you back off, so now you see the whole picture. So, but when you're too close, you don't see. Okay. Continue. To whom you can like me, meaning Hashem is speaking, with whom I will be equal. So again, as we said, this idea yesterday that we can compare something to what we know, right? As example that I would give. So somebody saw something unusual, some flying sheep or something, right? And then they try to describe to me. So it's like this, it's like that. So I can understand, I can imagine. Maybe not exactly, but a person with good imagination can imagine the forms. It's like a length, like heights, all these things. They can imagine. Why? Because we saw something similar in this life. And that's why we can describe. But something that we never seen, like how can you describe it? How can you imagine? Right? As Hashem, there is said, to whom you liken me, with whom I will be equal. Next verse. Were he confined to the body, he would resemble other bodies. Other bodies with meaning with all the limitations. And commentaries say, though today the negation of God's having any corporeal form is acceptable, but all of the axiomatic truth, at different periods of Jewish history, there were a need to clarify this concept. I mean, today with Chabadniks we have a new need to clarify this, right? Not Igeres Tihiach Mesim, chapter 1, where Rambam describes these his meetings with many people who consider themselves to be Torah sages and yet conceived of God in the corporeal terms. I'm not sure how is it possible. Similarly, though the Ravad accepts the Rambam's principles as true, he states in his notes in Hilchos Teshuvah, right in the same place, that the scholars who were greater and better than Rambam conceived God's is heaven body. So the advocate of this ministry. So let's see from the beginning. So Rambam said. So Rambam here, it's very interesting. So he does not go from a Talmud, from anywhere, right? So he goes from the logic. So he said, look, Hashem said, I'm God of the heaven and God of the earth, meaning he cannot be at the same time. So meaning he's unlimited. There is no body, because corporeal body physical body can be only one place in the same time, right? And nobody have seen me. When in Revelation at Sinai, meaning if any event people would see Hashem, would be expected when he would give us his Torah, meaning it was like in a sense it was a wedding. So he's a groom and we are a bride, the Jewish nation, meaning so a groom has to show his face, right, in a sense. So but he did not show his face, so meaning meaning we have never seen him. Right, so now, meaning Rambam goes not the proof from the oral Torah. It's very interesting. To me, it's a little surprising, right? But he goes directly to the logic and to the sources, like in the Chumash and the prophet, and goes by logic. Okay. So let's see. Though today the negation of God's having corporeal form is accepted by all axiomatic truth, meaning I'm not sure. Okay, today, okay. A different period of Jewish history, there were need to clarify the concept. I'm not sure where was it. So, but not sure. But looks like I mean, when was meaning? When did it start and how it started? I'm not sure, right? But looks like something was even in Rambam's time. So Rambam describes his meeting with many people who consider themselves Torah sages. So if we're talking about ignoramus, they constantly leave a stupid comment. I understand that. But people who consider themselves Torah sages. Okay. So how is it possible? I'm not sure. Conceive of God in corporeal terms. I'm not sure what they're based on. Similarly, though Ravad. So Ravad many times he fights, but he fights Rambam heads on, like complete, exactly opposite. Okay, of course he was a holy rabbi, but sometimes the way he addresses in his commentary Rambam, it's for me it's little too much. It's too much. It's too disrespectful on my side, the way I see it. Sometimes it's I get annoyed with him, right? Of course he's holy, but I don't know. Similarly, though Ravad accepts the Rambam's principles as true, as he states in his book, right? That the scholars who were greater and better than Rambam conceived God's inhabited body. I'm not sure who these scholars and why they conceive, but as Rabbi Reuven Shlita said many times, we don't know the names of the scholars, why they say what they say, but we know what Rambam is, and we still learn today after many generations, and all of the generations until Mashiach comes, and after Mashiach comes, they're going to say what Rambam said. These people, I mean, they're mistaken. Yeah, maybe they were great in their time, but who knows their names. All right, so stop here.